Hey guys. Well, I figured I'd turn the camera on and talk to myself while I'm on my way to work. And since Google just reminded me that I have had this bike for 1 year now, since I picked it up, I figured I'd talk about my 2016 Triumph Thruxton R. Give my thoughts and my overall review of the bike. There she is. Long story short, I love the bike. I think it's one of the best bikes I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot of bikes. It's by no means perfect, but oh man, it's just so much fun. It's so, I don't know, raw, I guess. And I think it looks actually better now with the Speed twin wheels. We'll talk about that too. Anyway, let's head on to work. So yes, I have owned this bike for a year now. I put 5,000 miles on it. I bought it from an older gentleman who bought it brand new from the dealership and just never rode it. It sits at 7,000 miles now. And like I said, overall, this bike is, I love it. I love it, I love it. It's not perfect, like I said. There are things that I wish were better. There are things that I did to it. The main gripe that I had with this bike were the inconsistent front brakes. So no matter how much I bled the brakes, no matter what I did to the brakes, they wouldn't stay consistent. They would feel firm after you bled them. They'd be firm for a few miles, and then they would be mushy again, and it would take 2 pumps to get them to firm up again, which was annoying to say the least. My background is sport bikes, so I'm used to very good brakes, very good feel from my brakes, and that's something that it took me a while to get used to. So I decided to bite the bullet, took a chance, and I swapped in a Brembo RCS 19 master cylinder right there. I don't know if you can see it there. And after I did that, the brakes have been amazing, and I mean amazing. The modulation and the feel are beautiful. They're what I would expect from any modern sport bike. They're great. So that took care of that one issue that I had. The other issue that I had wasn't so much an issue. It's just something that I wanted to try, because I thought it would be a good upgrade, and it turned out I was really, really right, and that was swapping out the spoke wheels for the Speed Twin alloy wheels. I lost just swapping it, same tires, so I didn't change the tire brand. It was just the wheels, and I lost 8.5 pounds of unsprung rotating weight, and I mean, well, that is a very big difference. The bike now is very quick to drop in. It accelerates faster. It brakes better. I had to actually readjust the suspension after I did it, because the characteristics of the bike changed so much. And I mean, I was shocked. I was shocked. I mean, this is how, in my opinion, the bike should have come from the factory. I understand that, Triumph was trying to make this a throwback, a true classic cafe racer type, in that, you know, they all had spoke wheels, but man, it makes such a big difference. I cannot state enough the difference that it makes. And the thing with the lighter wheels is, the faster you go, the more you feel the difference. But yeah, I mean, overall, I love the bike. You know, I'm someone that goes through and changes bikes pretty often. Like every 1.5 to 2 years, I'll swap out bikes because I get bored, or you know, I just want to try something new. The best bike I've ever owned, or right now, up to date, right now, that I absolutely love, would be I had a 2016 Aprilia Tuono factory. That was just insane. I loved that bike. That bike is, it probably will be my favorite bike I've ever owned. And whenever I say that, I always get asked, well, then why did you sell it? Well, because I wanted to try other things, and because having 170 horsepower on the street, you know, with like all that torque, is kind of insane. You know, having a bike that's that capable makes you want to tempt fate, I guess, a little bit, you know, and kind of ride it fast, ride it a little harder than you normally would, and maybe more than you reasonably should. You know, I've been riding now over 20 years, so I consider myself a pretty seasoned rider. I've had my crashes, but I'm pretty skilled, I would say, for a street rider. And you know, it got to the point where it just didn't make sense to have that much capability. And power-wise, I mean, you know, like just sheer speed-wise on the street, I was, you know, I would catch myself routinely going well into the triple digits. You know, and it was nothing. It felt like nothing. The bike could handle it all day. That bike couldn't even break a sweat when you were pushing. I could push that bike as hard as I could possibly go, and the bike would not even blink. It would laugh at me. Whereas, well, something like this, you know, 90 horsepower, very fun, flippable now. The brakes are really good. It handles great. Has more than enough torque. Like I can still go, but it's just, you know, I'm riding this bike. This bike does not ride me. It doesn't egg me on. It doesn't, you know. It only does what I want it to do. And yeah, and I'm sure, even if I ride to my full skill level, my 100%, I would not be able to maximize what the bike could do. I'm sure the bike is still more capable than I am, but at least I feel on this bike like I can do more, and like I'm not being, you know, like I said, I'm more in tune. You know, it's going to be rough now, you know. In typical fashion, there's always another bike that I'm interested in. And the new bike for me now is that new 890 KTM Duke R. I test rode the 790 Duke, and I loved it. I absolutely loved the way that bike handled. I loved the motor. I loved the transmission on it. But I don't think I can sell this bike to get another bike. I don't want to get rid of this bike. This might be the first bike that I've grown attached to. That's how good it is. I am not one to grow, to get sentimental with objects. That's just not me. I don't name my bikes. I don't name any of my things. I don't, they're just things. I enjoy them. I have fun with them. I take care of them. But to me, they're things. They're not people. They're not pets. But with this bike, I think I would just regret it if I sold this bike. It has so much character and it's so capable. I get so many compliments from it. This bike, when I open the garage and I see this bike, I smile. 100% of the time. It's just such it invokes that passion. For me anyway. It's a beautiful, beautiful bike, and I don't think I could ever sell this one right here. But we'll see. I say that, but then again, I'm an idiot, so you never know. But yeah, I gotta say, in the year that I've owned it, now the little things that I've done to it all, I also added a steering stabilizer, an Öhlins steering damper. But the bike really didn't need it. If you tune your suspensions correctly, a bike rarely needs, for the street anyway. For the street, a bike rarely needs a steering stabilizer. I say that, but I'm sure someone will comment, well, if that was the case, why do race bikes have steering stabilizers? Well, race bikes also have 200 horsepower and are constantly on one wheel coming out of a corner. So when you're driving that much power down, you're off center and you're on one wheel. When that front wheel touches down, yeah, you might want to have something that can damp those effects, those gyroscopic effects. But on the street, the only time that you would really benefit from a steering stabilizer that I can see is like if you hit an imperfection or some kind of crack on a highway, maybe that kind of throws your bike into a little slapper. But even then, bikes sort themselves out very quickly by themselves. They want to stay upright. The gyroscopic effect on a motorcycle is strong. But yeah, but I added it anyway. Didn't need it. I added one just for bling, because this is my pretty bike, like I said. So I added one on there. But that's it. That's all I did. The exhaust that's on here was on the bike when I bought it. Well, not on the bike. The guy he bought the Vans & Hines full exhaust, but he never put it on. So I put it on. He also had the X pipe, but he never put it on. So I went ahead and put it on, and that was all included in the purchase price. And I saved so much money buying this bike used. I mean, the guy I bought it from was a great guy. He was great to deal with, but he lost so much money buying this brand new. In the United States, these are just harder to sell than in other parts of the world. So the used market for them is very low. Anyway, I'm almost getting to work now, so I should probably wrap this up. So in summary, the bike's amazing. If you're thinking about buying one, do it. You won't regret it. Is it perfect? No. Does it have character? Hell yes. Will you love it? I'm pretty sure anyone who bought this bike would love this bike. Would I recommend it to beginners? No, I really wouldn't. Mainly because if you're a beginner, you're going to drop your bike. I don't care what anyone says. You're going to drop the bike. You might not crash it, but you'll drop it. And if you drop something like this, it would just hurt. And more your pride than anything else, because it's, like I said, such a pretty bike. Well, anyway, guys, I'm almost at work, so if you have any specific questions about the bike, let me know. Put them in the comments below. I'm sure people will ask me about the wheel swap, because that's what everyone asks me about. I think I'm the only one in the United States for sure that has done the wheel swap, but we'll see. More people are going to end up doing it. Anyway, see you later, guys. Have a good one.